Hey, what's up, YouTube fans? This is going to be continuing off of the last few YouTube videos I uploaded. You might want to see those videos first to understand the why this topic is relevant to me to talk about in the video, right? But so I wanted to talk about in this video, right, is how part of why the concept of intelligence is an ambiguous concept open to interpretation, what exactly it is. Part of the reason for that is that knowledge is an ambiguous concept open to interpretation, what it is, right? And knowledge is fundamental to intelligence, right? But what knowledge is, right, is highly ambiguous, highly open to interpretation. And this isn't just like some wacky personal opinion I have. If you guys look into it, you'll actually find that this is actually one of the most debated philosophical questions of all time. That's considered a big philosophical problem that there's a lot of philosophical debate around as to what exactly knowledge is, right? And not only is it historically a very debated topic, but I would argue that it's even all the more ambiguous now in the modern era, now that people are wanting to broaden the scope of it so much so that we would even, some would want to say that AI, artificial intelligence, has knowledge, right? And yet AI is generally not considered to be conscious, right? Most people would agree that artificial intelligence isn't conscious, right? So therefore, that would mean that if AI has knowledge, then that would mean that you could have knowledge without having consciousness, which by many definitions of knowledge would be contradictory, right? And yet knowledge is fundamental to what we would consider to be intelligence. So if AI doesn't actually have knowledge, then that would call into question as to whether or not is it actually intelligent. AI, even though it's dubbed artificial intelligence, not everyone will agree that it truly is intelligent, as opposed to just mimicking intelligence. Not all definitions of intelligence will actually agree that it truly is intelligent. And so, I mean, it's, we could define knowledge as a true perception, that if you have a true one, also if it's justified. So if you have a true justified perception, some will say that's what we call in knowledge, right? But in the case of AI, they don't really have perception per se, because they're not conscious. And also, even aside from AI, what do we count as perception? Like what? Like a mental representation of something. But what makes it a representation? That's highly ambiguous, highly open to interpretation. Like, what do we really count as a representation? And what makes it mental if it's not coming from something with a brain or even a nervous system? And so, I mean, these are highly ambiguous concepts, highly open to interpretation. And when it comes to philosophical debate around things like that, I would argue that, it's kind of a dumb thing to debate about it, because humans invented language, right? So if there's no agreement about what the definition of a term is, that doesn't mean that there's some objectively true answer that we just haven't figured out yet. It means that there never was an objectively true, agreed upon, universally accepted definition. It means it's an ambiguous term, right, that, you know, is defined differently in different contexts or between different individuals, right? Um, so, all right, that's all for now. See you guys.